The heart of open-wheel racing beats strongest here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as the TORQ IndyCar Series roars into round 3 of its season. It all began under the lights at Charlotte, where Peter Hoppe claimed a thrilling victory on the oval. Then at the winding curves of Laguna Seca, Hector Collazo showcased precision and determination to take the top step. Now Brock Morris enters Indy as the points leader, looking to solidify his early season consistency on a stage synonymous with speed, strategy, and legacy. The Brickyard awaits. Will the championship picture shift, or will Morris rise to the occasion? Get ready, because the green flag drops next, live on ASN. Our venue for this evening is the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Built in 1909 in Speedway, Indiana, it is one of the most iconic and historic tracks in motorsport. This 2.5-mile rectangular oval features 4 corners, each with 9 degrees of banking connected by long straights and short chutes. Known as the Brickyard, it originally had a brick surface with 1 yard of brick still visible at the start-finish line. The Speedway is home to the legendary Indianapolis 500 first run in 1911, which has produced countless historic moments, including dramatic finishes and record-breaking performances, solidifying its status as the crown jewel of American racing. The TORQ format, for the TORQ IndyCar Series is as follows. We are finishing open practice now, which leads us into a 3-lap solo qualifying session. To determine the grid for our 50-lap race as the inaugural season of the TORQ IndyCar Series commences tonight live on the Automotive Sports Network with Bryan Sawyer in the production truck and also next to me in the commentary box. My name is Josh Mertz as we welcome you to Speedway, Indiana. Cameras all season on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for your camera support. And Bryan Sawyer, our first show for the TORQ IndyCar Series, has me so excited I cannot even read scripts correctly. There is no venue better to kickstart our coverage of this series as such a legendary facility with so much history. How are you, and what are your thoughts about tonight?
Hey, Josh. I'm excited. I've never done anything here at Indy, commentary or broadcast-wise. I've only raced in unofficials here, so I'm excited to see what a bunch of people that know what they're doing can do. I joke that I know nothing about the GT3 cars, but I know even less about the Indy cars, so I'm excited for you to tell me and teach me all about them. And it's been a while since I've watched an oval race.
We're going to be watching speeds of about 230 entering turns 1 and 3. You can run flat foot on the first lap of the qualifying. We're going to do things a little bit differently here at Indianapolis for the TORQ IndyCar Series. Normally it's a 4-lap average, of course, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but these guys still doing the 3-lap. Best lap will count, so it's going to be interesting to see. I wonder if we're going to have some guys maybe park it on the second lap to get the best lap on the third lap, but we got about 20 seconds until we hit qualifying. Let's take a look at some programming notes before we get rolling on the Automotive Sports Network, and it's going to look a lot like just TORQ for a while. Our next broadcast will be the TORQ Sports Car Series on Thursday at Sebring. That'll be 8:30 p.m. Eastern, myself and Bryan Sawyer for that one. Our next round for the TORQ IndyCar Series at Mid-Ohio next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If we can take a look at points really quick before we hit qualifying. Brock Morris, 1 point ahead of Peter Hoppe and Hector Collazo. Then it's Dylan Clark, Nicholas Morelli battling for 4th as we take a look down the order. Trevino, Quill, Gall, Ryan, and Marco Mini in the 10th spot. In the Teams Championship, George Quill Racing by 3 points ahead of Rectum Racing, as that's a hilarious team name, actually.
That's a name.
That's about as good as Move Over at Speedy Time.
I had to go look at that.
That's a good one. George Racing Association and Morelli Motorsport tied in 3rd. Maybe I should pay attention to the... I don't know. We're just doing things as we roll. So, first car on track for qualifying, Bryan, is Jackson Brown in the 39. We just witnessed him climb the fence down the back straightaway in practice. We can add to the... It's terrible to seem like we're joking. I promise we're not. Add him to the list of fatalities at Indianapolis because he climbed a fence down the back straight. Josh Stolz in the 99 behind him. Hector Collazo in the 6. Then we've got Jacob Quill in the 71. So these cars do run an open setup in the TORQ IndyCar Series.
Ooh.
As Brown hits the wall like Hildebrand did in 2011, and he's going to lose the run to the first lap of qualifying. Josh Stolz, first car now, to take the green flag across the yard of bricks down to turn 1, the north side of the Speedway. Sorry, south side of the Speedway. I should know that. 229 on corner entry. Still flat-footed. 226 middle of turn 2. Now down the back straightaway, the east side of the Speedway, as it goes in between the nice golf course that you said, Bryan Sawyer, that they had here in Indianapolis, and now into the North Chute, turn 3, between 3 and 4, the North Chute, where Mike Conway flipped in 2010 into the fence and into the final corner. Like we said, Jared Hildebrand into the fence in 2011, allowed Dan Weldon to take that second and final 500 victory. And Stolz was quickest in practice, crossing the line, 39.549 for the 99. Hector Collazo across the line, 39.7, 2/10 down on the 99. Jacob Quill to the top of the board, 39.528 as times roll in. Zach Goddard, 39.557, 3 cars within a tenth of a second.
Looks like Quill burned his second lap. Why do you do that, Josh?
As let me take a look and
He got
see.
his fast
He
lap,
did
he
park
got off
it.
and then went right to the pits. Is there a reason?
You want to get fresh tires, Bryan. You really, as Chase George has crashed in turn 2 on his first lap. So Quill is utilizing this to get the fresher tires because, like I said a little bit earlier, you're going to burn through these tires to go flat-footed on this first lap. And that's why we notice on the 4-lap average at the 500, you have a blistering lap the first lap, and it's all about consistency. These guys don't need to worry about that. You can give up that second lap, get the fresh tires, and try and set that best lap on the last lap. Jackson Brown, after crashing on his first lap, has set a 39.580, and Quill now begins his third and final lap in Indianapolis. Through the South Chute, 16th and Georgetown Road. Build a roundabout on the southwest side. Can't even use the Georgetown Road to get through to the track now. And now down the back straightaway into the third corner. Christian Zarate, 39.545. There are 5 cars within half a tenth. Make it 6 within half a tenth. 7th within a tenth. And off the final corner, Quill down the front straightaway, snaking like Joseph Newgarden did in 2023 across the line. 39.523. He does improve by a couple 1,000ths of a second. Where's Zarate? Zarate is going to begin his final run.
Josh, I'm looking back at 5th and 6th. Jackson Brown and Peter Hoppe. They are identical lap times. We got a plus 000 next to him.
As Brown we got Brock Morris. Remember, the points leader by 1 ahead of Hoppe and Collazo. So let's pick up the 0.5. He's on his second lap. He ran 39.661 into the North Chute and into turn number 4. A little bit early on turn in. Compromised this line, and he gives it up. He knows he gives it up.
Ow.
And that was a clutch move because he was able to give it up before he crosses the line, and I don't think that's going to count. Jackson Brown has crashed on his third and final qualifying lap, and he pummeled the wall. He got loose, hit the curb, and then hit the wall in the 39.
Cool. That's like how the new Hummer drives, Josh. Now he's into the wall. Okay.
We've got Jackson Brown trying to reset. Zarate's on his final lap in the North Chute. Out of turn 4 he is. And now down the front straightaway in the 7. He's got to find .022 of a second to beat Jacob Quill across the line. 39.560. He does not improve. Peter Hoppe has crashed as well in the 16 as he finished his third lap. He came across the line. I don't think the lap counted on our timing. So Jackson Brown done with his run. Hoppe done with his run. Brock Morris trying to pick him up. He's exiting the pit lane now through the access road and onto the back straightaway. And he is the only car on track. We've got Darius Timms in the 17th position. He's on track. Matthias Marcamini in the 07 has not set a lap time, nor has Will Roberts. So we focus on Morris, the points leader, in the 05. And the problem is you can't even say an acronym for his team name, so we'll figure that one out as we go. Across the line goes Morris. He's beginning his third lap now. And Bryan, let's just ride on board the 05. ...233 miles an hour on turn in. Full commitment, full throttle, easy on the steering wheel. Don't hit the curb. Under the white line, off of 4. Down the front straightaway at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will the points leader improve? 39.650. He improves his time, not his position. As next car on track is Matthias Marcomini in the 07. He is a 39.714, currently sitting 11th. He's the next car on track in the running order. 21 cars here this evening at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And not a good starting spot for the points leader when you have Peter Hoppe a couple spots ahead of him. And trying to find is Hector Collazo actually in 12th. So top 3 in points not having a good day. Marcomini across the line in the 07, 39.746. He's going to begin his third lap now in the 07. Will Roberts, the other car on track, he crosses the line, 40.169. He remains in the 17th position.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, Bryan.
There's been a decent amount of accidents, people hitting the wall and stuff in this qualifying. Is that just because they're pushing so hard, or is it because we're anticipating a lot of accidents here tonight?
I don't have a straight answer for you. At Indianapolis, it's full of commitment, so I would say it's more so pushing. We've seen in the real world, seen in the virtual world, Catherine Legg at the 500 qualifying this year brush the wall in turn 4. You're at Indianapolis in an Indy car. It goes hand in hand. One of the best venues, one of the best tracks, perfect pairing. These guys just trying to get everything they can out of these Dolaras. And it looks like with qualifying coming to a close as Marcomini has parked it, we still got a couple minutes. We'll see if race control pushes it forward. But Bryan, Sawyer, we've got Jacob Quill and Christian Zarate on the front row, tentatively here in Indianapolis. And Jacob Quill, if I look at my stat sheet, he is sitting 7th in points. And Zarate, I don't think has ran a race this season, if I'm trying to find him on the list. I think this is his first start. So you've got Morris, who qualified 8th, points leader. You've got Hoppe, 2nd place, qualified in 6th. And then you've got Collazo, qualified 12th.
We got 6 cars under a 10th between each other. And it's incredible. There's 12 before you get to 2/10.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a show. Stephen Ryan continuing the TORQ tradition, making fun of Ethan Halsey. I just want to let everybody know, according to Stephen Ryan, we are at the Indianapolis 500. So 50 laps, 2 fast repairs, and 65% fuel as confirmed by race control. And not sure if we're going to do a 3-wide start as is tradition.
God, I hope so.
At Indianapolis.
I would assume not, just because it's a pain in the butt to get the sim to figure that all out.
We will have yellow flags, as we were talking about that before the race, and there will be single-file restarts per norm in IndyCar, as 21 cars getting ready to take part at the racing capital of the world. Bryan Sawyer alongside me. My name is Josh Mertz, as we welcome you to round 3 of Season 1 of the TORQ IndyCar Series here at Indianapolis Speedway, Indiana. And be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. Ring the bell to be notified of our live streams. Currently, right now, on Tuesday and Thursday, but when NASA kicks back up, we've got a couple of other things in the work. Tentatively, we might have streams every single week. So be sure to tell your friends, family, your dog, whoever it may be. We've got some great content coming, along with our short-form video content courtesy of Jess Rakowski. As we just wait for qualifying to officially end before I can do one of my historic super fast grid reads. And Ethan Halsey's getting roasted on the race control chat. So we're going to see some heroics, I think, with the, let's call it 7 cars within a tenth of a second. There's going to be some heroics. There's going to be some slipstreams. We're going to see some incredible moves being made. It's going to be exciting. That's all I can say. I can't even think of the words to describe what we are going to witness. And thanks for joining us, like I said, tonight on the Automotive Sports Network. We are just awaiting race control to kick this one forward, Brian.
I think we're going to be waiting this whole 3 minutes, Josh. I think it's time for a bathroom break. If you're watching, you got to go. Now's the time.
50 laps. We will have to see a pit stop. We will have some fast repairs if some guys are involved in some accidents. And they're making me really work for my money, trying to talk about some something, right, Brian? So let's just think of some crazy moves that we've seen. We referenced in 2011 with J.R. Hildebrand and Dan Weldon. 2012, Takuma Sato down into turn 1 battling Dario Franchitti. Sato spun in turn 1 as we advance to the next session. Sato later got his redemption, won the race twice, most recently in 2020. The only time that the Indianapolis 500 was not held on Memorial Day Sunday. And we advance it forward, and here's our grid in Indianapolis. On pole will be Jacob Quill in the 71. And it's Christian Zarate, Josh Stolt, Zach Goddard, Jackson Brown, Peter Hoppe, Corey Allen, Brock Morris, points leader, Zach Trevino, and Ethan Halsey, the top 10. In the 11th position will be Matthias Marcomini in the 07. Then it's Hector Collazo, Nicholas Morelli, Chase George, K.H. Donahue, Bobby Helms, Will Roberts, Stephen Ryan, Darius Timms, and Miles Davis in 20th. And 21st in shotgun on the field with his only one on the grid page, Nicholas Rode, in the 47. But Davis and Rode have not set a lap in qualifying. So I'm not sure if we are going to be seeing them on the grid. As mentioned in the opener, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway originally created with nothing but bricks, and it is now called the Brickyard because there is a single yard of bricks to denote the start-finish line. And as is tradition at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, originally created by Todd Parrott and Dale Jarrett in 1996. Now it is evolved to every series, and that is kissing the bricks at the start-finish line. As did it once in 2018 after the Grand Prix, and the bricks never tasted sweeter. As we wait for our field to grid, Chase George, Davis, and Rode, the only cars that we are missing. If I look at my entry screen, Rode is not in the session, so we are waiting for George and Davis. That'll give us 20 cars if Rode does not join the session. George has gridded. We await Davis and Rode to see when we will grid in Indianapolis.
I think we got George on the track.
He has gridded. Those two are not in the session. They have missed the start. So 19 cars will take the green flag. The racing capital of the world. Safety car pulls away. Will and Zarate on the front row of the grid. A little interesting to see a double file start at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the Indy cars, but maybe we'll save the three-wide salute when TORQ gets 33 cars. We've seen impressive growth in the numbers for the sports car side of things, and I can't wait to see what will happen for the IndyCar side of their enterprise. As the third race of the first season, you got to start somewhere, and Brian, 19 cars for your third ever race, pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's not bad numbers. They got a whole lot signed up, too, in their roster. Ethan Halsey is notorious this year for breaking my rosters and going, hey, something's not working. We've exceeded 250 people. I'm like, oh, okay, let me fix it.
I'm looking at probably over 45, maybe 50 guys registered. I'm included in one of that. I anticipated in racing this, but then they said, oh, you're gonna broadcast it. I said, okay, I'll do that. That's fine. So, as we round the north end of the speedway. Over the crossover is the tunnel to the speedway on the north end. As we will wait until green flag from the sim to go racing at Indianapolis. 19 cars at the racing capital of the world, field in the hands of Jacob Quill and Christian Zarate. Thanks for joining us on the Automotive Sports Network as we get ready to go green in Indianapolis. Down into turn one, side by side, Zarate and Stoltz to the inside. Goddard, Brown, and Hoppe side by side as well. Hoppe on the outside of Goddard through the south chute and into turn number two. Looking three wide, mid-pack, back in the pack, still side by side. Now down the back straightaway. Single file, Quill, Zarate, Stoltz, Zarate looks to the inside. Here comes Stoltz to the inside and Goddard as well. We're side by side, nearly three wide. Into turn three on lap one. Stoltz washes up into Quill into the fence. Zarate involved. Up and over goes Jackson Brown and a massive crash in turn four. And the second time tonight that Jackson Brown has went into the fence and a multiple car crash on the opening lap in Indianapolis, Bryan.
Who just went to the moon, Josh? I watched
it. Was Jackson Brown again.
Oh my Lord. I watched it in slow motion in my brain. I watched the car get sideways in front of him and I just saw him just skyrocket.
230 miles an hour, and like I said, chaos was bound to happen. And just like Dixon in 2017, he hit the rear of another car and up and over he went. So, you are in control of the replays, my friend. Let's take a second look.
I got to figure out how to do this. 11 people got meatball flags. 11 cars got meatball flags out. Let's see if this works. All right.
We are. I guess we could just watch this entire first lap. Let's look. I'm going to pull you a car number. We're going to do this completely professionally, of course. Zarate is in the 7. So if you can give... Quill's in the 71. So if you can do a blimp cam or a high above cam of Quill on this start, we can take a look and see. Might have to do helicopter. I'm not sure what it's labeled in as the sim. Here we go. So here is on the south end of the speedway through turn 2. And you get a huge surge of momentum with the slipstream. Zarate pulls the slipstream, goes driver's left. Stoltz gets one even bigger. And you might have to do it slow motion. Goddard thinks better of it into turn 3. Stoltz just Zarate drives it in, or it is Stoltz. Apologies there. And you don't want to make contact. Into the wall goes Quill. Contact, that's Zarate or Hoppe, not really sure. And there's Jackson onto the left rear of, I think it was Zarate, up and over, like Dixon in 2017. And when you're driving, and then you just see a car in the air, it doesn't end well at all. I'm going to try and let you know of who to go on board with really quick to see who had the best view of a flying car in Indianapolis. So,
hats off to Darius Timms. It looks like Darius Timms was far enough back that he just got on the brakes and avoided the whole incident. He's just driving through a field of
might have to do this again super professionally. We're going to trademark that phrase. If you can give me Chase George, the 66, down the back straightaway on that opening lap. Not sure if it's possible. Like I said, we might have to roll it back, but this is going to be a camera shot if we can pull this up, because I'm looking at it off monitor and he was. You'll just watch it. Let's ride on board the 66. They're 4 wide on my screen going into turn 3, and it's just chaos. I just watched his entire you'll see. That was a good time. Okay. We get the green flag. He is lined up next to Goddard. Oh, we're on board Brown. This is going to be a good one, too. You could ride on board this or Chase George in the 66. Either way. But these guys haven't been in a pack at all. We saw practice. We saw qualifying. You go for single car. And there's these cars on this track with the slipstream. We ride on board Chase George for this replay. And I'm just going to shut up from right about here. It's crazy. Imagine being in the cockpit in real time for this. It's not every day that you see a car bouncing across turn 4 at Indianapolis.
That's a real easy way to gain 10 positions.
And now he sits in the 4th position under yellow. Feel free to keep us rolling with the replays, but what an accident. What an accident. So, I'm not sure what they're going to do. If they're going to give laps back, I mean, I don't expect them to. Marcomini, Hoppe, Brown, Quill, Zarate, and Halsey all off the lead lap.
I'm looking at Halsey still
on the
having
lead
a
lap.
black flag. I'm not quite sure. He's all the way in the back. He's on track. Not able to see what it's for tonight. I have no live steward. They have a live steward. They're just not linked into our system.
We will figure it out. Lights are off, I think, on the safety car, according to what I can see. So I think we might be going green. Apologies for not being too informed, and we are. Safety car down pit lane. Josh Stoltz has the field in his command. Goddard, Morris, George, and Morelli as we go back green in Indianapolis on lap 5. Single file start down to turn number 1. Morelli looks to the outside in turn 1 on George. Single file through the field. Marcomini on the outside. Allen looks to the inside. Zarate and Stephen Ryan in the back of the field. Now down the east straightaway, on the back straightaway in Indianapolis. Defending is Stoltz. To the outside is Goddard. He's got Morris all over the rear wing. Now we go down to turn 3 to the north chute. Huge run for Morelli, and Stoltz holds the spot. It's side by side. Morris with Morelli. George, Helms, Trevino, Collazo, Roberts, Donahue, the top 10. We complete a lap under green. Josh Stoltz leads ahead of Zach Goddard. As Stoltz knows, you immediately need to start the Dragon. The slipstream effect is huge. As we got 2 cars down the pit lane, it's Hoppe and Halsey. I think they both had the black flag penalties here on lap number 6.
They did, Josh. They're both pulling in to clear those black flags.
Trevino and Helms exiting turn 2. They nearly came together to a round. One car saved it was Will Roberts, and the other car into the fence, it's Jackson Brown again. Not sure if we will have a yellow flag. They were 3 wide on corner exit. I'm taking a look off monitor to see. And, Donahue hit the wall on corner exit of turn 2. Jackson Brown, an innocent bystander, in the 39. To the inside goes Zach Goddard for JC Simsport. Down to turn 1, he takes the lead. As we take a second look with Donahue and Brown.
Oh, unfortunate.
Contact off of turn 2.
Who got off scot-free there?
It was car number 2, Will Roberts. If we can take a look at the race lead. Stoltz now to the inside on the north chute on Zach Goddard. Put him back to the lead in the 99. You will see plenty of passing and repassing again here in Indianapolis. Nicholas Morelli sits in 3rd, very wide. We've launched K.H. Donahue. 1 car, yellow flag in the back. And it's Christian Zarate and Darius Timms. And Donahue, not sure what happened there. As Donahue parked it in turn 3, Zarate, Marcomini, and Timms all crash at the north end of the speedway.
Well, we'll get a look back at that when it popped up as available on my side. But I was going to tell you, I think this race is getting renamed. So it's going to be the Jackson Brown Memorial Race here in a little bit. It's had 2 massive incidents already, neither of which were really his fault.
It's so touch and go with these Indy cars. You have to be laser focused. We talk about that in the rallycross side of things, but in these cars, you're driving a jet. We saw Jackson Brown take flight. You do one thing wrong, you're going to end up in a massive airplane crash, as Martin Brundle used to say, or does say now still. Let's roll it back. If we can pull up a replay of Christian Zarate in the 7 and K.H. Donahue in the 90. This is in the north chute between turns 3 and 4. Donahue just kind of parks it in the middle of the corner. Zarate into
wow. It was like bowling.
Marcomini and Darius Timms contact as well. So Timms on the pit lane, Brown in the pit lane, and Josh Stoltz pitting. I think we're getting some first scheduled pit stops potentially here in Indianapolis on lap number 8. As Stoltz leads.
Josh, I'm looking at over half of the field has taken their one of their 2 fast repairs. I think we're going to start getting into the range where these people are going to run out of fast repairs, and it's going to be, hey, if you got minor contact, do you fast repair it, or do you just hang on and wait for your pit and see how long it's actually going to take to fix?
The problem is, with these Indy cars, if you basically can look at these cars wrong, and they will require minutes of damage repair. So you have to be lucky and basically clip the wing. We saw this year at the 500, Will Power touched one of the walls and was out of the race. We've seen it so many times before. And but you also see Catherine Legg in qualifying, like I mentioned earlier. She clobbered the wall compared to Will Power and kept trucking in qualifying. So it's such a fine line on what breaks the car and what doesn't. So fragile are the Dallara IR18s. Yeah, I need to be biased for 2 seconds. Shout out to Zach Goddard up front. He's apparently driving the 65, but for JC Simsport out front. And car looks really good. Shout out to Chris Lunan for basically designing the car, and I tweaked it a little bit. So sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
Let's say our top 3, Goddard, George, and Helms, no fast repairs yet. Then everybody's got one back into, who are we looking at here? Stoltz doesn't have one yet. My timing's being a little slow here. Morelli hasn't used one. And Morris. So there's 6 cars out of our 19 that haven't touched a fast repair yet. Looking at some people here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cars have touched both of them already. Looking at Jackson Brown has used both.
We know Jackson Brown, yes.
Zarate. And then who are these 2? It looks like Matthias and Timms have both used both of theirs already. We're 1 the green lights are out on the pace car, Josh.
As we've got Matthias Marcomini from Argentina. And looks like everyone else from the U.S. in this series. Lights are out atop the safety car as we now head down the back straightaway on the east side of the property at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We get ready to go back green. A fifth of the way through the race in Indianapolis. And I suspect that Jess Rakowski's going to make a short of that crash on lap 1. Because that is probably one of the biggest crashes that I've called in my sim racing career. And that's been over 10 years worth. So, going to be interesting to see. With Stoltz down the order now, Bryan. He's the first car to pit. He's got the setup under him to make passes. We've seen already how many passes, how easy it is. Just know that on lap 49, lap 50, coming to turns 3 and 4, the North Chute, you want to be in second. Because this race will not be over until the start-finish line. Safety car back to pit lane. Field in the hands of Zach Goddard in the 65.
They're hitting each other on... Okay.
Go back green here in Indianapolis. I'll try and see what had happened under green. I think one car, it was Corey Allen and Zach Trevino. They touched as we begin lap 11. Through turns 1 and 2. George, Helms, Collazo, Trevino, Allen, Ryan, Halsey, Stoltz, Morelli, and Morris. The top 10. 1 car around, 2 cars around, 1 up, and over again! And it's Corey Allen in the 42.
Oof. And that's a lot of the backfield, Josh.
And Matthias Marcomini involved again.
I think that's the end of his night. Probably the end of a few other people's nights.
Marcomini, Darius Timms. Oh, Jackson Brown just lightning McQueened his way through that crash. That was impressive. What happened? I'm taking a look. Oh, it was Zach Trevino. Trevino lost it in turn 2. Around he went. Take a second look. And Corey Allen went into the fence. That's 3 times a car has gone into the fence this tonight. Stephen Bryan involved, Will Roberts.
Before the green flag, they're pushing each other around.
So Trevino might have had rear wing damage. If he got hit from behind from Allen, I think that's what happened. So yeah, if I'm taking a look at that, he got hit, so he had rear wing damage. Here's turn 2. And up and over goes Corey Allen. Now Trevino's got to
We're
make
gonna
it back
roll
to the
back.
pit lane with a rear wing dangling, and let's take a second look and see. You get any little bit of rear wing or diffuser damage, and it's over. You're going to lose all that downforce when you're at peak load mid-corner, and that's exactly what happened, because did he touch the paint? He went slightly under, and around it went.
Yeah,
And
he
when
got a
it
little-
swaps ends, it's over. You're done.
Oh, so close to making it through there.
And
Inches
just like
away
Jackson
and
Brown, you
wind
touch
up.
tires, that's an airplane crash. And up into the fence he went.
Jackson
So many
Brown.
cars involved. Look at this. Jackson Brown. There he is. Just flying his way through the middle. I think at that point, if I looked at his telemetry, I think he was full throttle that entire time. I don't think he lifted. Even then, he's 3 laps down. But at this point, who knows?
3 laps
We
down.
have lost
like-
Corey Allen.
Who knows?
We have lost Darius Timms. Right. And Matthias Marcamini. We have lost those 3 drivers. Here in lap 13.
While we're still on pace lap, I want to take a look at the position swaps. 'Cause we got a lot of movement. Goddard up 3, George up 11, Helms 14, Collazo 8, Stoll's only down 2, Morelli and Morris. So most of the people in the top 6 here were nowhere near the top of the field after qualifying. But,
Well, we rode on board with Chase George.
Yeah.
He picked his way through that massive airplane crash on lap 1 on the north end of the speedway. So him and Bobby Helms just keeping the nose clean. Goddard, George, Helms, Collazo, and Stolt, the top 5. Not a good day for Peter Hoppe. Hoppe's still on the lead lap. So the second place man in points in 10th. Collazo in 4th. And Brock Morris in 7th. As I think Dylan Clark has retired from racing in this series. He is listed in 4th in points, but I think he's running race control tonight. He has stepped
that's
out of
what
the car.
I assumed. I heard he was running my race control tonight, so.
The lights are out atop the safety car. And I got confirmation. I can't remember who confirmed it. But the safety car driver's name is Fred. So just so everybody knows. We've got Barney in the flag stand and Fred in the safety car.
Working overtime tonight.
As our running order so far is we will begin lap 15 next time around. Zach Goddard, Chase George, Bobby Helms, Hector Collazo, Josh Stoltz, Nicholas Morelli, Brock Morris, it's not Christian Zarate, he's off the lead lap, Jackson Brown off the lead lap, Jacob Quill, Zach Trevino, Will Roberts, Peter Hoppe, Zarate, Halsey, Ryan Brown, the 15 cars still on track. As we round 3 and 4, and TORQ's going to have plenty of content for an ad if they decide to create one. I'll tell you that much for 2025. So, once again, safety car will head to pit lane. Field will be in the hands still of Zach Goddard. 15 cars still left here in Indianapolis as we begin lap number 15. Green flag. Much cleaner this time. Collazo looks to the outside of Helms as we cross the yard of bricks. Brown stays out of the way of the lead lap cars. Quill gets by Zarate. Side by side, Morelli and Stoltz. Expect Stoltz to make some moves to get back to the front of the field. Morelli looking to the outside of Collazo. Better run, over, under, looking inside, down the back straightaway. Huge slipstream for George. George looks, driver's right to the outside. Into turn 3. Here comes Morelli to the inside. He washes up into Helms. Helms touches the wall. Does he save it? He does. But he's got the right side suspension damage now. A little early to be making those moves. And now, Goddard and George. George pulling, slipstreaming, looking to the driver's right again, down to the first corner. Can he clear him on the outside? Lap 16, side by side on the south end of the property into turn 1 to the south chute, turn 2 now. It's Zach Goddard leading Chase George. Morelli side by side with Stoltz for third. Then it's Collazo in the 6th. He can pull the slipstream on either one of these guys going to the north chute. Morris and Helms. Helms trying to make some moves after he got shoved out of the way on the last lap. Single file down the order, no contact. Goddard leads still from George to Stoltz. Don't count Stoltz out like I had mentioned. And here comes Helms. Here comes Quill, the pole sitter in the 71. Helms looking, slipstreaming Morris. Looking to the inside on the 05 is the 96 into turn 1. On the outside is Quill on the south end of the speedway and takes the spot from Helms. Right on board Quill in the 71. 232, 3, 4 miles an hour pass for the lead up front. We're side by side. It's Chase George to the lead at Indianapolis. Depending on who you are, you could not like that his last name is George here at Indianapolis, or you could love it. Goddard slipstreaming in the 65, looking drivers left to the inside, back to the race. Lead goes the West Virginian, and he holds it. Will George be able to take the fight down the back straightaway? We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, we've seen plenty of over, under. Fastest lap, Collazo, 40.912. Car length, make it maybe 1.5. Here comes George, 225, 26, looking drivers right. Is he going to try on the outside here in Indianapolis? Side by side, couldn't clear the pass. They're side by side halfway. He's nearly clear. Can he clear Goddard? On the outside, he does, as Jackson Brown, the sympathy corner, has commenced back to the pit lane in the 39. Goddard gaining, trying to give me a moment to pull away from this, Bryan, but I can't as we're still side by side as Josh Stoll's clearing. Quill and Morelli battling for the 6th position. As now Stoltz a couple car lengths behind. Chase George still a car length behind. I'm trying to take a look off monitor to see what happened to Jackson Brown. And he had another issue in turn 4, just like in qualifying. He hit the curb and around he went into the inside wall. Goddard still leads. George tries the outside still. Can't get it done, but he'll have the run off of turn 4. Goddard runs the middle. George to the outside. Stoltz there as well. Give Chase George the lead on lap 20 here in Indianapolis. Equal on lap times. If these two keep squabbling, Stoltz loves this. Through the south end to the back straightaway. Goddard washes up. He's clear. He's going to give George the outside still as we're side by side. And this is allowing Hector Collazo to sneak into the picture as well, Bryan. Trevino and Halsey in, well, that's not even 4 positions, sorry. Trevino's in 9th. I promise I'll give you an opportunity to talk if these guys let me. But George gaining again, 225 to 219, 5 miles an hour faster, and George has the slipstream into turn 1. Can he clear him on the outside? On the south end, he does! And George to the lead again.
You want the outside here or you want the inside? Oh, they're snaking.
It's whatever you do. I'm going to use a line that Dale Jr. said, applied to Talladega and Daytona. When you get a run, you use it, you take it. It doesn't matter where you go. Outside, inside, take the run, and don't feather the throttle. Because it might be your only shot in Indianapolis. As George a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 4. We are under caution again in Indianapolis, and it's Ethan Halsey in the 61. Unfortunately for him, he crashed, but fortunately for the rest of the field, he was by himself on the north end of the property in the 61. Pushed wide in turn 3, if we can pull that up. Pushed wide in the north chute, and into the fence he went.
Oh, too late.
Here's the aftermath, and here it is in reverse. And you missed the entry by a millimeter. You can go ahead and roll it, and you're gonna push wide. Yeah. And I guess good news is we will have race control. So, benefit.
Unfortunately, I believe he's already. Yeah, he had already used both of his fast repairs before that, so that car is done.
So, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network while we got some time. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Ring the bell to be notified of those live streams. Currently here on Tuesdays and Thursdays for TORQ But we'll have NASA starting back up in February, March-ish. We'll have Sunday, Monday, Saturday. We've got some other stuff in the pipeline as well, along with our short-form video content courtesy of Jess Rakowski. Just a shout-out to the entire team at the Automotive Sports Network, working so hard in 2024. 2025 looking great as well. As we begin pit stops, Bryan, Zach Goddard leads us down the pit lane. We've lost Jackson Brown. He has officially retired from the race. Christian Zarate stays out. I think he's going to be given his lap back. I think they're doing wave-arounds in TORQ IndyCar. So we will see where that puts the 7. And if Zarate is back on the lead lap, that gives us another car that was quick from qualifying. Because Zarate ran a 39.545. He was second in qualifying. That's big for the driver of the 7. As we're heading to halfway at Indianapolis. And this will put Stephen Ryan, I think, is going to use the wave around as well. Zarate pits. So Goddard holds the lead. Stoltz in second. Collazo third. What happened to Chase George? I think he might have had damage because he drops from second to 8th. This is huge.
Yeah, Chase George, he only had a 3-second longer pit stop in 3 seconds when it's this close. That'll do it. And everybody else is at a 34, 2, 4, 8 in the 34 range, and George is at a 39. Morris also 36.9, so pretty close to 37. So a couple seconds off the average. And we got a lot of people in there. 12 plus minutes. Corey Allen.
Time is still going for these guys.
Yeah, they're just sitting in the pits. They haven't exited the sim yet, so it's going to count that time.
As, like we had mentioned, let's take a look at some programming notes. Thank you, Chris. Your car that you partially designed is leading the race, Zach Goddard. Just so you know. Thanks for hanging out. Lights are off on the safety car. We take a look at our programming notes for the Automotive Sports Network. The TORQ Sports Car Series, Round 8 in Sebring. That's Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Some big news that I don't know if I'll actually be able to announce. We're just going to wait until Thursday. It involves championship protagonists. We'll just have to wait and see. That's going to be Brian Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that. And our next round for the TORQ IndyCar Series at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. We go from the wide open spaces of Indianapolis to the tight confines of that beautiful circuit in Lexington, Ohio. That is next Tuesday, the 26th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Brian Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that. Zach Goddard, Josh Stoltz, Hector Collazo, Jacob Quill, Nicholas Morelli. Top 5 in Indianapolis. As we will begin lap 25, take crossed flags halfway. And Stoltz, Collazo, Quill, and Morelli. And Ethan Halsey came over race control and said he'd like to join us, but I don't know if he can get set up in the system in time, Mr. Brian Sawyer. Maybe we'll have to set that up during our ad break. Unless you want to handle that, but I don't want to give you too many jobs. As we come off of turn 4 to cross halfway in Indianapolis for the TORQ IndyCar Series. 14 cars still in the session, 11 on the lead lap. Field in the hands of Zach Goddard as we go green. As back green again in Indianapolis for Zach Goddard going into turn number 1. Josh Stoltz in second, and that's a car that I don't want to see behind me if I'm anyone in this Indy car from what I can recall for the driver in the 99. Hector Collazo, Morelli, Quill in the top 5, Peter Hoppe, Morris. Remember Chase George, second place before the pit stops. He is down the order in the 8th position. Looking to the inside, here comes Stoltz already. Not hesitating in the 99 to the inside of Goddard. Looking outside is Morelli. Morelli in the marbles. In turn 3, they nearly touch with Collazo. Through 4 on the north end of the property. Now down the front straightaway. Here in Indianapolis, it's a car length. Stoltz knows what to do, goes to the inside, leaves the door open on the outside from Goddard. Gaining outside, side by side. Can Goddard clear him into turn 1? He can't. Stoltz on the paint, onto the curbing, side by side on the south chute. Into turn 2. These two keep squabbling. We'll see Morelli and Quill in no time. On the outside, still Goddard. Dueling even. Side by side, Morelli will have the slipstream down the back straightaway, gaining by 6 miles an hour into turn number 3. Stoltz holds the lead. Around is Morelli in the 14, into Quill, into the fence. Goes another car. It's points leader Brock Morris.
Josh, I feel like this race is kind of how in NASA when we do the endurance championships. Anything can happen. Some of the people that you expect to be up front, just things happen and they wind up way out of place.
People are not pleased with Nicholas Morelli on the chat. And let's take a second look.
Just that screenshot alone we had there.
Oh.
Timing's a little messed up tonight. Don't quite know why the replays aren't working great, but we're here.
I don't know. I tell Ethan Halsey I pride myself in calling things how it is, and I can see that in this instance, in the moment, Nicholas Morelli might not be as experienced as you expect in these Indy cars, trying to get the car to stick in turns 3 and 4 in Indianapolis. It just won't stick. That's it. Over. Done. So we've got Ethan Halsey. I'm not sure if he's connected internally or not.
I don't know.
You can.
While we're on, you want to hit ads
good.
while we're doing this, and we'll figure them out.
I'll tell you what. We're going to step aside. Hopefully we don't miss the green flag, but we're going to go ASN nonstop from Indianapolis.
You're so interesting.
I love your browser history.
I like that you're not hiding anything from me.
By the way, nice IP address. I like your neighborhood.
You are so special. This ad is just for you.
I learned so many things from you.
You are so generous with your personal data.
Switch on privacy, switch off trackers and viruses. Go to NordVPN.com. NordVPN. Safely be you.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to...
We welcome you back to round 3 of the TORQ IndyCar Series in the racing capital of the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Bryan Sawyer in the production truck, and also next to me in the commentary box, my name is Josh Mertz. Special shout-out to Ethan Halsey. We tried to get him to join us, but there's a couple things you have to do to join the way it works, and internally, and just not enough time. So he'll have some fun watching from the pagoda at race control. You don't have to pull the graphic up, Bryan, but be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. Ring the bell to be notified of our live streams. And shout out to Jess Rakowski for the short-form video content and cameras provided by Whiplash SimCams. Thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV. As we get ready to go green again at Indianapolis, it's Josh Stoltz, Zach Goddard, Collazo, Hoppe, and George, the top 5, lap 30, commencing in Indianapolis. We ride on board Goddard to turn number 1. Chase George gets passed by Will Roberts. George and Trevino side by side, but we stay focused on Goddard in the 65. Exiting turn 2. Down to turn 3. Stoltz defends the inside. Here comes Goddard. Collazo has a run as well. A couple cars in the back, nearly making contact. And these guys have to know you have to be calm, cool, and collected, and we are absolutely not that. We are under yellow again, and we've got another car upside down in turn 2. It was Zach Trevino who lost it again. Nicholas Morelli and Bobby Helms nearly went into the fence. That is 5. He did. That is 5 cars tonight into the fence. And Bryan, the worst part of that is Helms is going to have to get towed, and he's going to lose a lot of time. Let's take a second look. And I can't hear you if you're talking, by the way. So
I'm not talking. I'm trying to get some stuff working.
As that's Morelli in the 14. Let's roll it back and try and we could take a second look at it. And it just looks like Trevino hit the curb, and it wasn't even the curb that rotated him. He started to lose it before the curb. You hit the apron, around the rear end went, and it wasn't even Trevino's fault. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. Because Morelli, I don't know how to blame that on Morelli. No. That was all on Helms. But the problem is, I wouldn't even necessarily assert blame. With these cars and how quick they slow, you don't have time to react. It's just a chain reaction.
I know, yeah. When you close 0.7 of a second going at 230 miles an hour, it's under it's milliseconds to respond. I don't know if you've ever done one of those clicking tests, Josh, but to see how fast you can click for a reaction time. But it's incredibly hard to get low enough to manage one of these vehicles.
As Morelli sitting in the pit lane, Stephen Ryan, Stoltz leading us down the pit lane. And these Indy cars, I mean, iRacing is no joke. We see during the ad, it's all laser scanned, super official. It's basically you're driving the real life Indy car, how it would handle. And if you don't have, it's a overused cliche, but cat-like reflexes, even more so, better than a cat, to be able to catch these cars, to be able to react, and it's hard. That's why we see, even in the real world, these guys with spotters and hours of training and practice. It's just, there's only so much you can do.
This is why I drive the F4 car, Josh.
Why I drove the Rallycross Light.
They're so much slower.
Why I drove the Beetle Light.
I like watching an accident in front of me and being able to get on the brakes in time.
This is interesting. We are going back green in the North Chute. Well, we got the signal to go green in the North Chute. So we've got Halsey, Morelli, Helms, and Ryan in the pit lane. So let's just call it 10 cars left. And we've got 18 laps to decide it in Indianapolis.
Are we down to 10 cars running? I'm looking at 11th in pits, 12th in pits, and everybody below that, pit or out.
Down to 10 cars. Green flag in Indianapolis. We begin the 33rd lap, and 33 is an omen here at the Speedway. Hopefully we can survive this one under green. Goddard leads Collazo, leads Trevino. Zarate, after recovering his lap and getting the fast repair. Stoltz, Roberts, Hoppe, Quill, George, and Morris, the 10 cars remaining. Helms is back on track with his fast repair. Here comes Stoltz in the 99. Huge Superman run. Past Zarate, side by side, washes up nearly into Trevino. moving to 4th. Like I said earlier, I don't count that 99 out. One car looking outside. It was Hoppe on Roberts down the front straightaway. Goddard, you are a sitting duck if you are first in line in Indianapolis as we begin lap 34. Goddard, Collazo, Trevino, everyone in the top 4 in the 43-second bracket. You're going to witness some incredible racing like we've seen all evening long. Collazo, just a pinch of the curb, get the car to rotate ever so slightly, and now down the back straightaway again. As Quill, Hoppe way out of the groove, way out of it in the 16. He hit the curb and lost a lot of time. Second place man in points struggling in the 16. And Zach Goddard holds the lead. Collazo loves this. He is 3rd in points, 1 point down on Brock Morris. Morris sits in the 8th spot, Hoppe in 10th. We're going to end right now. Collazo in the points lead as we head to Mid-Ohio. Now, Bryan, hopefully we'll see some calmness. We'll see some patience. Just ride around, bide your time to the last couple laps.
Yeah, 10 cars in the pack like this. Coming to the last 2 laps, anybody can pretty much win this, right? Get a couple good runs, and you're up front.
You absolutely, anybody has a chance in this field with the slipstream the way it is. And we see Zach Goddard leading Hector Collazo down the front straightaway. Zach Trevino, Josh Stoltz, Zarate Roberts, George, Morris, Will, and Hoppe. 10 cars left. Helms is on track, so I stand correct. He's in 11th. He's 2 laps down. I think, don't quote me, but there's a couple cautions. I think they do a wave around or a free pass. Could stand corrected. But if that's the case, we could see Bobby Helms potentially back on the lead lap.
Hector Collazo. What a run. Started 12th, currently 2nd. Pretty much got there from the first yellow flag and stayed there.
41.4 to a 41.415 to a 41.406. You're going to ask, why are you even bothering to go over lap times? You're right. That's why I haven't mentioned them too much, because lap times in Indianapolis, unless you're spread out like we saw in 2016 with Alex Rossi with that incredible economy run, lap times don't matter when you're in a pack like this. Collazo gaining, nothing done against the 65 of Zach Goddard. As one car around, it's Will Roberts and Christian Zarate in the back of the field. They do not hit the wall.
Oh, it came out.
And the sim automatically threw the yellow flag.
Going.
And I'll tell you what, Roberts had that pass made, and Zarate washed up in turn 3. And that was net code. That wasn't even actual contact. Those two net coded together, and I'm amazed that nobody went to the fence. It is not frequent that that happens. Not often, I should say. But Bryan, I don't think I've actually asked you this so far tonight. What are your thoughts for the first half of this race?
It feels a lot like a Talladega race, Josh. That's all I have to equate it to. I like super speedway racing, and some of these incidents I've seen tonight, it's just hold on to your pants and hope you don't get collected.
There's a reason, not crash related, but there's a reason why every single seat in this place, 250,000 and then some, pack the grandstands and the viewing mounds at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway every May. And it's a sight to be seen, consistently sold out, and to be honest, I haven't bought my tickets yet. We've never been, and we always go to the road course event, and road course pales in comparison. You're still at Indianapolis, but it's just like NASCAR. You see Alex Palou winning on the road course at the beginning of the month. That means nothing compared to what it is to win on the oval. We heard the NASCAR boys when they ran the road course for a couple of years. It's not like winning the oval. It's not the same thing. This oval, been around since 1909, like we said in the opener. The first oval in America, if I'm not mistaken, and so much history. First 500 in 1911. over 100 years, of course, even with the World Wars factored in, over 100 years of racing. And so many memories, so many incredible moments that have happened. And it's certainly a spectacle. And it's not just because this is iRacing, because it's a video game. This is how these cars handle on this track. This is how the racing is every May. And believe it or not, this platform, the IR18, they call this newer aero package. This is the DW12 from 2012. A 12-year-old car producing this much of incredible racing. It's something else. So Josh Stoltz in the lead as Goddard has pitted. So we got a little bit of varying strategy as Goddard pitted and Stoltz stayed out. They've been alternating here. Not sure if we're going to get lights off on the safety car this time around or next. We'll have to wait and see.
Stoltz has been out for 39 laps. Is that what that says? Yeah, 39 laps. Stoltz, George, Will, and Morris. 39 laps each. Goddard
he's pitted.
In fifth.
He's definitely pitted, so I don't know if your timing's broken or not.
Oh, it might be. It's been doing things all night, so it might be. No, it's
I blame
updating.
The immense replays needed.
It's updating. He might have not
I don't know how
tires, 'cause I think that's for tires.
That is impressive if he hasn't taken tires. I'm not sure why you wouldn't. Lights are off on the safety car, and Bobby Helms has gotten a lap back. So if you're the fan of the 96, he's one lap down now as we are beginning the last 10 laps in Indianapolis. And this race can end under yellow per IndyCar rules, I do believe. I don't think TORQ has a green-white checker like NASCAR does, so we, favorite phrase, if you had a nickel every time I said it, you'd be rich. We'll just wait and see. Super pleased with the opportunity here on the Automotive Sports Network given to us by TORQ, by Ethan Halsey, Dylan Clark, and company, to have Indy cars on the Automotive Sports Network. It's been quite some time. It's been 3 years since NASA fiddled with the Championship Series back then. Previous regime created that series, toyed around with it, and that ended after a season. We had half a season covered, and it's awesome to have Indy cars at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway live on ASN. Safety car will head to pit lane once again. Field will be in the hands of Josh Stoltz. It'll be Stoltz, Chase George, Jacob Quill, Brock Morris, points leader, Zach Goddard, Trevino Collazo, Roberts, Hoppe, Zarate, the top 10. The only other car on track is Bobby Helms in 11th, one lap down. Green flag again in Indianapolis. Stoltz is going to be hard to beat in the 99. But if anybody can do it, I would say it's the entire field. Everybody was within a tenth of a second in qualifying, and now we go down the back straightaway. Chase George in the 66 back up front, looking driver's right. Quill in the 71, Morris, Goddard looks to the inside. We're 2 by 2 by 3. It's basically Talladega. We saw this on the first lap of the race, boys. Stoltz washes up, can't get it done, as George blinks, at least on my monitor, while he takes the lead. Collazo and Trevino side by side. Now, down the front straightaway, and the dragon begins from Chase George. We saw Joseph Newgarden do this in 2023. And we'll see how aggressive it'll get. Down to turn 1. Stoltz, Quill, Goddard, Morris, the top 5. Morris and Collazo battling. Under the white line nearly is Chase George. You want to make sure to get all the slipstream taken away from your competitor. 4/10 is the gap, and Stoltz can't even get close to George in the 66. Morris to fit, passes Collazo through turn 4 to the front straightaway. We begin lap number 43. Chase George leads ahead of Josh Stoltz. Jacob Quill looking to the outside in the 71 and the 99. They're going to be side by side on the south end of the speedway. Here comes Zach Goddard. Quill cleared him in turn 1. Goddard backs up turn 2. Now down the back straightaway. And like I've said, you do not want to be out front by yourself. You are a sitting duck. Here comes Stoltz. Slipstreaming, gaining, looking driver's left to turn 3 on Jacob Quill. Can't get it done. Now, beginning lap 44. Quill gaining. 226, 227 to 220. Looking. Don't want to send it too early. Too early to make a bonsai move. Stoltz backs out of it. So does Goddard. Top four pretty close. And if we can get a green flag run, you'll see cars come and go. You'll see guys take their time. There's going to come a point in time like now where Jacob Quill says, I'm not going to be patient. I want to lead this race. And the 71 goes to the lead. Stoltz looks to the inside on George. No position change. Quill to the lead still.
Looked like Morris hit the wall behind Goddard there. Saw a little bit of either Morris or Goddard hit the wall. Couldn't really tell.
As taking a look really quickly, Morris nearly into the wall. Side by side for the lead. Stoltz and Quill. Put Stoltz to the lead. 3 cars under a blanket. Couple tenths down was Goddard. We're coming to 5 to go this time in Indianapolis. Josh Stoltz leads. Quill not staying in the slipstream for long. Trying to peek to the outside. Through the north chute, through turn 4. Quill now, less than a tenth. Not staying in the slipstream, which is interesting. Here comes George. We take 5 laps to go at Indianapolis. Here comes Goddard. Goddard on the move. Has to hit the brakes into turn 1. Roberts gets by Trevino for 7th. I would only be concerned if a couple guys in the back make a mistake, have an issue. Because if we go yellow, I don't think we'll go back green. To the outside, Jacob Quill on Josh Stoltz. And you only have to be ahead, of course, by a wing, by a nose. You don't have to be farther ahead. So he's testing the waters as we head to 4 laps to go. We're still side by side. Now Stoltz clears him. Quill not staying in the slipstream. Here comes George. Here comes Goddard. George looking, gaining. Here comes Goddard. Goddard sends it. George backed out of it. 2 by 2 into turn 1 with 4 laps to go. Goddard clears George in the 65 to the 71. And they touch in turn 2. Into the fence goes George. It was a net code issue. I don't know if that's going to be a yellow flag. It doesn't look like it. We're still green in Indianapolis. That takes out one of the quickest cars here this evening. Side by side, Stoltz and Quill still. These guys battling. Race control, I don't think is going to throw the yellow. Unless the sim throws the yellow, Stoltz still leads. 3 laps to go. 7.5 miles left at the racing capital of the world, and Josh Stoltz can win this race, but he still has to hold off Quill. And Jacob Quill, like I said, is not staying in the slipstream as long as I would if I was driving one of these cars to gain all the momentum that you can. Down the back straightaway. Now he is. Stoltz isn't snaking like you should, and Quill looks to the outside. Can he clear him into turn 3? He got past the front axle. Stoltz washes up, and Quill to the lead. That is textbook in Indianapolis. You force the guy to run the inside. You make the move to the outside. 2 to go. 5 miles left in Indianapolis. Stoltz to the lead at the line. Goddard waiting for something to happen in the 65. Morris, Roberts, Collazo. Reminder, Brock Morris, your points leader. He will leave here the points leader if he stays ahead of Collazo. Here comes Goddard looking to the inside. Will he send it 3 wide? He will not. Side by side with Quill into the north chute. We're going to have 1 lap to settle it. At the racing capital of the world, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Josh Stoltz lead ahead of Jacob Quill looking to the inside. Now the outside goes Quill. White flag at the line he led, but he still has 1 lap to try and get it done. Can he clear him? Stoltz to the inside, pushes him to the curb. They nearly touch. Goddard in 3rd. I don't suspect the 65 is going to lift this time. Exiting turn 2 on the east side of the property for the final time. It's Josh Stoltz. It's Jacob Quill. It's Zach Goddard. Any one of these 3 guys can win it. They're gaining. Stoltz is a sitting duck. Quill looks to the outside again. On the outside, side by side, Stoltz washes up. They don't touch. through 4. Goddard didn't. Sorry, it wasn't Goddard. One car in the fence. They're side by side off of turn 4. It's side by side. It's Quill. It's Stoles at the line in Indianapolis. Side by side of the line. And I think it was Jacob Quill.
It was Quill.
By 0.001 of a second. The 71 gets it done. And the laps before the practice, I told you, that's what you have to do. And Jacob Quill gets it done. We had one car crash. After the line, it was Peter Hoppe. We had one car in the fence. Trying to see what had happened while you had called it. We had one car in the wall in the back of the field.
Yeah, I thought Goddard
It was
did.
Brock Morris,
Yeah,
our points leader.
Morris hit the wall, but Goddard also did. That ruined any chance he had.
That is huge for the points. That'll swing Collazo to the points lead. Morris, 9th. Everybody goes by, and while you cannot kiss the bricks virtually, Jacob Quill can certainly, as he respects the yard of bricks and does not do his burnout on the bricks. Jacob Quill wins ahead of Josh Stoles, Zach Goddard, Hector Collazo, Zach Trevino, the top 5, Will Roberts, Christian Zarate, Peter Hoppe, Brock Morris, Bobby Helms in 10th after crashing and ending up in the fence and upside down. That was a good time for him. Chase George, Nicholas Morelli, Stephen Ryan, Ethan Halsey, Jackson Brown after crashing into the fence and going to the moon in 15th, Corey Allen, Matthias Marcomini, Darius Timms, K.H. Donahue, Miles Davis, Nicholas Rode. Those two never started a lap. So, I have to take a breath. So, Bryan, are you capable of handling interviews, please?
I could try. Got a few buttons to hit here. Let's give it a shot. See who we got.
We have
Stoltz?
I was so ready to call him a race winner because of the performance that he had. But Josh Stoles, second place man. See if we can bring him in. I've brought him in. And we got Josh Stoles in the broadcast booth with us. Bryan, he's all yours.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
You're muted on Discord, Bryan, just so you know. He can't hear you.
Oh, he can't hear me. That's wonderful. Hey, hey, Josh, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Walk us through your race. You did pretty good there. Second place is awesome. I'm trying to get this graphic pulled up for you. Yeah, started third, finished second. You were up front most of the race, led 19 of the laps. So, yeah, tell us how you got here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to sound cocky, but I am very comfortable in this car. I kind of know decent amount of the tricks with it. I think it was lap 40 something, 43, 44, something like that. Actually, I think it was end of 44. I was kind of just waiting and using the drafts. This track is a lot about just timing runs and getting them right. It is difficult at times, and this track, or this is a lot of stuff on iRacing, or especially at this track though, I treat it kind of like real life, where you kind of give and take a lot of respect. So I feel like I'm comfortable here. It's just put me up against some of the pro guys that run this for a living. I'm absolutely terrible. But I feel like I had a good race. Definitely could have been a lot more aggressive than I was. I just didn't really want to cause anything.
Yeah, it looks like didn't need to be too aggressive. It looked like a bunch of the aggression was happening in the back. The front of the field didn't really have to contest with many of the accidents tonight. So
other than the lap one.
Yeah, other than the lap one.
Which kind of was just a little bit of all of us up there.
Yeah.
So,
right. Well, who you got to thank tonight for your second place finish?
Start off with where I got the setups. Always been pretty big on using Apex Racing Academy. They don't really sponsor me. I just want to shout them out just because I always use their stuff for IndyCar. shout out to my main quote unquote sponsor, Penguin RC Simulation, Wheel and Engineering. Totally not looking at my car, trying to see who else is on here. My buddies over at a SimCar Grand Am. I know you guys run your own GT3 stuff, so I won't go too much into depth with that. But as well as my buddy Jonathan Oates 73 Creative for putting together this beautiful paint scheme for me.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Congratulations on P2, and have a good rest of your evening.
You too. Thank you.
I think I'm recovered enough to have one interview, and I picked. Is it a conflict of interest? Does it really matter? Zachary Goddard. I painted that car for you an hour ago.
Yep.
And here we are on the podium at Indianapolis. I might not have a voice after tonight, but I want to know walk me through your race, how everything went. Watching people take flight on lap 1. The floor is yours.
I tried to stay just consistent until the last probably 5 to 10-ish laps, depending on where I was. First off, I want to apologize to George because I got tight exiting turn 2 and we touched. I sent him into the wall, completely unintentional. My tires were gone because I accidentally double clicked the tire change box I meant to change and I didn't. So my tires were absolutely roasted there at the end. So apologies to him, but there at the end of the race, I felt like I had a good car to challenge for the win. I was trying to push up there, but like I said, my tires were gone and I just sent it into there. The last 2 corners, tagged the wall, and that was all she wrote. But I'll take a P3.
As Bryan was watching in awe of how these cars were, so I guess I don't even know like how I'm trying to say this. How laser focused? I guess put it in your words. How laser focused do you have to be to drive this car at that speed? 230.
Very, 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 very much so. You're fighting for centimeters, and if you go off that line just a tiny, tiny bit, you got to completely check up. Otherwise, you're going to go straight into the wall.
All right. I promise it's not because I want to hear you thank me. I promise. Aside from me, who would you like to thank for your P3 tonight, my friend?
Oh, I'm going to go and throw you in there, of course, you, especially for painting the car, like you said an hour ago. The whole TORQ crew and ASN crew for the broadcast and putting the series on. JC Simsport, which I guess is technically you as well, but the whole team for backing me. And Emma and Debbie over at Crown Creamery. Glad to put them on the podium.
I sent them the link to the race. Hopefully they watched it. If not, we'll figure it out later. Good run, my friend. We'll see you next week at Mid-Ohio.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Bryan. That's the only voice I had for my one interview. You get the race winner, Jacob Quill.
Hi, Jacob. How you doing?
Feeling pretty good, kind of just shoving that win back in his face for what he did to me on lap 1.
Hey, well, yeah. Looking at your race here, I mean, started first, finished first. You got it all the way back. You only led 3 laps this race, so you had a little bit of a journey. Walk us through what happened.
I was in the back.
Yeah, walk us through what happened.
I was in the back. I mean, lap 1, I just got absolutely taken out by that guy because I knew he wasn't stopping, so I did a quick shift to the right, and clearly I didn't have enough turn, so, caused a wreck because, he just sent it in so hard, and then from there it was just battling back, and I got lucky, dog. Somehow I made my way through the field, and from there, I got involved in another wreck. I actually should have been out of the race with like 10 to go because one of my teammates wrecked in front of me, and I had to slam on the brakes, and I hit him with my front wing, and I'm shocked it didn't come flying off, and it had no damage, shockingly. I mean, I was just midfield for most of the race because I couldn't make my way back up, or I didn't have the chance to, but late there stages, we played some strategy calls, and we were able to get up there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your stuff here. I've used both fast repairs. Only led 3 laps. It's doesn't look like you were supposed to be here, but it happened. So congratulations.
I got pole. I was fastest in practice. I certainly knew I was supposed to be up there, but
yeah,
just
after
whether
that lap 1 incident, sometimes it's hard to crawl back from them, but you did it. Anyone you want to thank for your victory tonight?
I'd like to thank Rev Limit Workshops and all the guys on my team on George Quill Racing Association. We love each other. You know, we all share each other. We share stuff with each other. We make setups for each other, and we certainly had quite the day today. Our team makes up like half the field, so I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really thankful for all the guys that support me and are able to allow me to come out here and win.
Yeah, unofficially, it's looking like you moved up to P2 overall tonight with your victory. So, wish you luck in future races, and congratulations on the night. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, see you later next week.
Have a good night.
You too.
Wow, that's all I can say for like a final thought. We'll do this the right way. Take a look at. Do we have points, Brian? Do we take a look at unofficial points?
We'll see if this worked. Nothing else worked tonight for me, so we'll see if points work.
Brock Morris up by 10 over Jacob Quill. Peter Hoppe and Hector Collazo tied still, but now they go down to third in points. Nicholas Morelli, Trevino, Ryan, George, Halsey, Helms, the top 10. And the team's championship, George Quill Racing Association leads ahead of WER. I'm not going to make that mistake again. George Racing Association, Morelli Motorsports, TSR, EH, and down the order to Penguin RC. Let's take a breath. Let's decompress and take a look at some programming notes for the Automotive Sports Network. Thursday, round 8 of the TORQ Sports Car Series in Sebring, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Bryan Sawyer, myself, Josh Mertz for that. That's going to be a fun one. That's been a great season all season long. And TORQ IndyCar, our next round, round 4 at Mid-Ohio. It's next Tuesday, the 26th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Just a reminder that cameras all season on ASN, brought to you by Whiplash SimCams. Be sure to check them out at facebook.com/WSimCams. And thank you, Andrew Cardinale IV, for your camera support as always, no matter the series, no matter the car, no matter the night, no matter the show, always coming in clutch for us. Thank you so much. If you like what you saw tonight, be sure to like and subscribe to the Automotive Sports Network on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube, and ring the bell to be notified of our live streams, currently only on Tuesday and Thursday, but we will have something pretty much every day of the week in 2025. It's going to be super awesome. ASNTVUSA.com if you'd like your content broadcasted. Also, if you'd like to assist us, we would greatly appreciate it. We'll teach you everything you need to know. And our short form video content courtesy of Jess Rakowski as well. As I know I kind of gave a wow final thought, Brian, but right from turn 3, from the outset, it was incredible. And you had no idea what you were walking into, so what's your thoughts after the fact tonight?
I love super speedways. I mean, I know this isn't... Is this classified as a super speedway? I don't know.
Yes.
It is? Yeah, I love this type of racing. I've always loved Daytona Talladega. I'll add this one to the list. You get to finish this close. I mean, what else could you want? Racing that tight all night. It's excitement the whole time.
And for the real world, they just inked a contract to be on Fox Sports on antenna. So if you can just turn on your TV on a Sunday between March and September, you'll probably catch the IndyCar Series, and that's going to be super awesome to watch. My final thought is it's Indianapolis in the IndyCar. It is exactly what we have seen in the real world over the past forever with these cars. Super fun, super awesome to see, and I cannot wait until next week for Mid-Ohio. As the checkered flag has fallen on the evening, from all of us at the Automotive Sports Network, from Jess Rakowski, Victor Vallee, Justin Robichaux, Josh Darnell, Ethan Halsey, Cody Erdman, and Bryan Sawyer, my name is Josh Mertz, as we hope you enjoyed today's coverage of the TORQ IndyCar Series tonight from Indianapolis. We congratulate our winner Jacob Quill by 0.001 of a second over Josh Stolz, and be sure to join us next week at Mid-Ohio. But until then, so long everyone.